Hey guys, it's Johnny Jetstream here with my first YouTube video. I'm an avid gamer and new to the streaming and online content creation business. I've had hours of fun with the original Risk of Rain, so thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to get into installment number 2 for you guys and do a first impression video, as the first game was incredible. A little bit of background for those that don't know much about the game, not many spoilers I promise. Risk of Rain 1 is a 2D platform game where you can play a number of different heroes, each having their own unique abilities. You're all alone and stranded on an alien world because your spaceship malfunctions, it gets sabotaged, and crash lands. You then have to fight your way through the alien monster-like denizens of each level as they try to eat you, set you on fire, crush you, shoot you with lasers, stab you, poison you, kick and punch you, and you get the idea. They don't like you much. But the magic really happens when you get your power-ups or loot. Killing enemies drops gold. You use the gold to open chests that are scattered across each level and contain goodies that permanently upgrade your character, and yes, they stack too. You can play through all the levels as much as you want, and when you're ready, you can teleport to the big boss. I've completed the game numerous times on all difficulties and leveled and powered up my character so much that I stampede through each level like an absolute god. It feels so good because up until that point, it's a very hard game where one wrong move can leave you whining at the computer screen like a little lost puppy because you were doing so well only to get burninated to death by a damn greater wisp. Admit it guys, if you've played this game, you know what I mean. So when I heard about Risk of Rain 2 coming in 2019, and that it was going to be 3-dimensional, I was super excited, especially after seeing a glimpse of it and some of the Hoppu team being interviewed. The game is in early access on Steam, so naturally I went over there to purchase my copy. Took a few minutes to download and install, and then I went straight in. Yes, that's right, no server or latency issues, and heck, no bugs yet either in my first hour and a half of play. Take note, AAA companies. As I understand it, and I may be wrong on this, so feel free to correct me in the comments below, but the game is simply Risk of Rain 1 but 3-dimensional, so it's still exactly the same story but with this new dimension. This does not detract from the game at all, as in my opinion the story isn't really the overarching principle of the game anyway. It's the challenge of picking a hero, upgrading them to melt everything and then fight the big bad boss at the end, all without dying, because if you die in this game, that's it. You have to start all over from the beginning again. Gameplay wise, it's really smooth and I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. There are a few awkward camera angles when you enter the watery, swampy parts of a level, which can get in the way of your viewpoint somewhat, but otherwise, I'm impressed with how Hoppu have managed to adapt their 2D platformer to 3D. I'm no developer, but it seems like it would be a big deal. The challenge is most certainly there too. They have not let up on the difficulty spikes, with the difficulty timer still a stark reminder at the top right of the screen of what's going to be coming your way every few minutes and how much trouble you're likely to get into if you don't find those power-ups fast. All of the original power-ups, of which there are many, seem to be here. As far as I can tell, with my admittedly limited knowledge playing the game, I'm hoping to see some new additions though, but only time will tell on that one the more that I play. Thankfully, the co-op mode in this installment is much better and easier to use than its predecessor, which was not great. The co-op games are also incredibly fun, especially when you hook up with your friends if you have any that play the game. But seriously, it allows for up to 3 players to join you on your quest to get off the planet. Playing with others really does shine this game in an even bigger light that breathes further fresh air into what's already a gale force of a game. If any of your teammates can't take the heat and die, they'll simply respawn in the next level, providing of course that the surviving members activate the current portal. One thing to note is that the loot in this game, at least for the moment, can only be activated by one player. So it's first come first served, which does make the game seem a little battle royale at times, with players trying to scramble around and gather as much gold as possible in order to activate a loot chest before anyone else on the team picks them to it. However, players should note that it does take a balanced team to stand a solid chance of hitting endgame, and the added ping system helps this goal, as it allows players to inform their teammates where locations such as loot chests are. You do need to share the load in this game and not hog everything for yourself. PvP has been an option that has been discussed and explored by the dev team too, but they have no plans to incorporate this into the game yet. I suspect that if they do, it will be via a patch post-release. The maps and level design also feel as though they have been plucked from the original and put through a 3D printer, given a polish and then slotted nicely into the game. They are great maps with plenty of areas to explore, and I have a feeling that they are clearly going to be adding secrets to the game in due course, and I can't wait to see what artifacts are going to be brought into the game too. I hope some of the old ones like Sacrifice and Honour are on the list, as well as some new ones which would also see some longevity added to the game, maybe even weekly or monthly challenges. This brings me nicely to another new addition, Prismatic Trials. This is a unique ranked game mode where players are required to complete the levels given to them in as quick a time as possible. This time is recorded and added to a global leaderboard for all to see, which I think is pretty nifty. Graphically, I feel they have absolutely nailed the feel that its predecessor bestowed upon the players, which is testament to Hoppu's clear ability to give the fans what they want without needing to compromise on anything. The music and sound can be attributed to this too, but I'll come on to that in a moment. The graphics are actually quite cute really, especially when you have the little gun and health drones flying around you pew-pewing some Lemurians who are often trying in vain to lob their fireballs back at them. It feels both cartoony, grungy and comic-like at the same time, but with their own flavour added to the mix. The movements of the characters and aliens are spot on, acting exactly how you would expect them to from playing the original. Prior to playing the game, I was dubious as to how flashy and colour-ridden the game was going to be, with all of the gunfire, explosions and the like potentially making your eyes melt. But this just isn't the case due to how they have chosen their colour palette. The colours, whilst plentiful, are lightly subdued, which allows the game to throw plenty of action on screen without taking any of the player focus and attention away from the immediate threats and dangers surrounding them. You can clearly see the passion, time and effort that has gone into the design and creation of the maps and characters, ensuring that they stay true to the theme of the first game. Heck, the Commando looks just like the box art from the original, so nice work on that one, Hoppu. Now for the music. I was and still am a massive fan of the original soundtracks, often listening to them as I work. Chris Christodoulou is truly a Spartan of a composer, creating some of the most immersive soundtracks in a game that I've ever heard, and that's no exaggeration. I wouldn't be lying if I said that Risk of Rain would be half the game it is if it wasn't for the music. This is emulated again by Chris thankfully being commissioned for the second instalment, and again, you can't help but bathe in the atmosphere that the music creates the moment you burst forth from your escape pod and start exploring the strange alien environment around you. Overall, I feel that Risk of Rain 2 is accomplishing everything that Hoppu wanted to and more. As a fan of the original, I was a little worried that this game would fall short, as is so often the case when game developers expand, grow, and move into something fresh and new. But from the game, even in the state it's in now, it's totally obvious that the dev team have ensured that they have maintained the essence and soul of the original and have successfully adapted it to a 3D platform. I imagine the thought of this adaptation may have been a little daunting perhaps from the outset, but Hoppu really should pat themselves on the back on what they have accomplished with Risk of Rain 2 so far. I am excited for the future of this game, and I hope that you guys are too. I do recommend that you pick up a copy of this game, as you'll be supporting one of the few gaming developers out there that truly deserve it at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed this initial review of Risk of Rain 2. I will no doubt release an updated review in the future once the game has been officially signed off as finished. Please power up my new channel by subscribing and hitting the like button. I cannot tell you how much I would appreciate it, I really would. Let me know in the comments section below if you would like me to check out and cover any other games out there. I will aim to release YouTube content as regularly as possible. I've been Johnny Jetstream, it's been a pleasure, and until next time.